Welcome to the Eagle Valley Model Railroad. Today we're going to talk through the process of taking this Lifelike boxcar that's got plastic wheel sets and the horn hook coupler and converting it over to the KD number 148 metal coupler and Intermountain metal wheel sets. So some of the things we're going to use to do this, of course, is our Intermountain wheel sets. We got the Magnumatic number 148 standard head metal whisker coupler kit that comes with the mounting box as well, the coupler box. Of course, the couplers themselves, which comes in the kit. We've got number 256 3/8 inch screws. We've got a 256 tap and a number 50 drill bit. Once we get the wheels on and the couplers mounted, we're going to check our wheel sets and make sure they're within standard. And then we're going to check our coupler height. So the first thing I like to do is just, and with this Lifelike boxcar, the wheel set just pops off. And set your car to the side. We'll deal with the trucks right now. So all I'm going to do is, since these wheels are coming out anyway, just go ahead and remove the wheels. And if you look at this, you can see that there's a natural recess on what it would be the bottom side. And all I'm going to do is take my Dremel tool and cut right down that recess. Shape it up just a little bit. And that's what we end up with. Take our metal wheel sets, just pop those in place. And as far as the truck itself is concerned, that part's completed. What we do need to take in consideration is when we're mounting our coupler in our box. We're going to mount it on the ends. We're going to mount it center to the car. And you want a good flat surface to mount to. And you want some of your coupler box to stick out beyond the car. Just not too much, but just a little bit to give you some clearance between your cars as they go around the track. So what I'm going to do is take my Dremel tool and just clean up this surface right here and give us a good flat area for our box to sit on. Now I know that sounded like a lot, but all I did was basically just roughed up that plastic to knock that detail work off. So we're going to cut off one of our coupler boxes here. And clean that edge up. And just put it in place where it would go, just to see what it's going to look like here as far as our clearances are concerned. And I actually lining it up exactly with that width, with that piece that sticks out. And I think that's going to do us all right. Make sure we get it exactly where we want it. And this is the bonding agent that I'm using. And the way this works is it actually works its way into the open gaps of the plastic. So all you have to do is touch where the two pieces of plastic meet, and it'll creep around wherever it needs to go. You just hold it for just a little piece. Before we let it set a whole lot, there can be some minor adjustments made just to make sure it lines up exactly like you want it to. So let that side dry. Once you're satisfied with it, put you a little bit of pressure on it to make sure everything sits like it's supposed to. Do is just right. And move on to the other side. And of course, one thing you don't want to do is glue your box and the bottom of your car together. Let's see. Get us a screwdriver up between there. There we go. I don't know if this car has ever been apart. There we go. Just make sure everything's still lined up good. And this is why I like to place it with the body on. Right there. Because that's hanging off the bottom of that car a pretty good bit. But it just does get beyond the lip on the body right there. So I like to place them with the bodies on and then take the body off to let it cure. That way it doesn't cure to the body. Set that to the side a second, and we go back to our other truck, take care of it. And truck number 2 is completed. It doesn't take long for the cement to set up. So what we're going to do now is drill us a pilot hole where our coupler box goes. Key to this is letting the drill do the work. It's plastic. There ain't no need in forcing it. Alright, so now we're going to take our drill bit out and get our tap in here. And just like with the drill bit, let the tap do the work. Alright. Now we're going to make sure that our coupler has the spring right there on the knuckle. Make sure the whiskers on the coupler are inside the coupler box. And there's a lip on the cover. And that lip goes away from the coupler. So put that in place, line everything up, and it should snap in. Just like that. Double check that your coupler is loose for operation. And do the same thing on the other side. Alright. And that coupler cover snapping into place may very well hold that coupler in for the life of however long you have this car. But this screw, mounting this screw in here, just ensures that it's not going to go anywhere. A little insurance policy. Now remember, you're dealing with a metal screw and plastic threads. So snug is where you want this, not necessarily tight. So just get it snug. Coupler's still free. Put our other screw in place. Now ideally you want to be able to drill a hole and tap through the weight. But again, your coupler needs to be able to reach the other cars. So we're just dealing with plastic threads on this deal, and I've had a couple of them running for a little while now, and it doesn't seem, I check them every once in a while and the screw stays tight, and I don't have any issues with them. So we've got our metal trucks in, our metal wheel sets in our trucks. Now you can take this a step further and actually plug this hole, drill and tap it, and put a truck on that screws on. Eventually we'll get there and go to that, but for right now we're just going to snap these wheel sets back in. And there you have it. So now that we have our couplers on the car, we need to make sure that they are at the right height. And we're checking two heights here, or actually three. The first one is our decoupling pin. That's magnetic, that we use with our magnet system. And we need to make sure that it's high enough off the track to clear any obstacles that's in its way. And basically we're talking about road crossings or the rails that cross the track at our turnouts. So it needs to be high enough to clear all that stuff, but not so high that the magnets can't pick them up, so we can decouple without messing with our train. So that's one of the first things we're going to measure. The other measure is actually the coupler height itself. We want to make sure that these couplers are at the exact same height, or at least close enough to give us more reliable running as we're running our trains. So basically all you do is you set your coupler gauge on the track, make sure it's good and secure to the track and it's down all the way. Set your car on the track, making sure your wheels are set on the rails, and simply roll it up to the height gauge. Now it's got a bar under the coupler, and you can tell that it just barely misses that plate that's under there. The decoupler bar just barely misses it. Alright, so we're good there as far as what the height is. Now I want to make sure that our height of the actual coupler looks good, and that's pretty close. That looks good, and just running into couple, and there you go. That side looks good. I'll flip this car around and see what the other side looks like. So we got the car flipped around, and we'll come up and see what we look like here. Alright, you can notice right off the bat that our decoupling bar hits the plate that's down for clearance. So this can get hung up on rails that are crossing the track at turnouts, or get hung up on road crossings, and you definitely don't want that. So all we need to do with that is take us a set of pliers, grab that bar, hold our thumb against the coupler to support it, and give just a slight bend to it. So this is what I like to do now. I'll take my hand and I'll grab the car like this, and I'll set my thumb on top of the coupler and just give it just a little bit of pressure, not a lot of pressure. And that pressure is opposite the pressure I'm fixing to give here. And I'll grab my needle nose pliers and actually grab the decoupler pin or decoupling bar, and just ever so slightly, with just a little pressure, roll your wrist up until you feel it bend. Now you may have to repeat this process a couple of times, because you don't want to make large adjustments here, because you just want the decoupling bar to barely miss the plate on the decoupler gauge. So we'll go see if this was enough and make adjustments as needed. Alright, so we made a couple of adjustments. Didn't get it right on the first time, and you're not typically going to. You really don't want to, because you don't want to overbend these things. So again, make slight adjustments until you get it where you want it. Set your car back on the track and give it a test roll. So we just barely missed that bar. It may be a little higher than what we actually want. I may make a couple adjustments to bend it back down, but I think we're going to be alright. So we see here, check our coupler height, and it's pretty much dead on. I'm satisfied with that. Now I said we had 3 adjustments to make, or 3 adjustments to measure. So you got your decoupling bar, you got your coupler height, and then you need the coupler alignment. So when I say alignment, I mean left to right alignment, and that right there looks pretty good to me. Upgraded car is ready to be added to the roster and put to work. Thanks for watching. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and until next time, happy modeling.